The air inside the ancient church was fragrant with beeswax and faint incense, creating an atmosphere both solemn and comforting. As the final attendees of the charity service filed out, the soft murmurs of conversation faded into silence, leaving only the gentle hum of the organist's fading notes in the background. The Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton, lingered at the front of the church, engaging in thoughtful conversation with Father Gregory. Father Gregory, a man in his late 60s with kind eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of decades, spoke passionately about the importance of charity, humility, and the power of connection in building a stronger community. Kindness, he said, his voice resonating in the high-vaulted ceilings, is the thread that binds us all. Without it, even the strongest communities unravel. Kate listened intently, her hands loosely clasped in front of her, her expression reflective. It was clear that his words resonated deeply with her. Yet, as their conversation continued, her attention was quietly drawn to the back of the church. There, partially obscured by the shadow of a towering pillar, sat a small girl, no older than 5. She was alone, her delicate figure dwarfed by the grandeur of the space. The child's worn, oversized coat and scuffed shoes told a silent story of modest means. Clutched tightly to her chest was a tattered teddy bear, its ears flattened and its fur worn from years of affection. Kate's compassionate instincts took over. "Excuse me, Father Gregory," she said gently, gesturing toward the little girl. "I believe someone might need our help." Father Gregory followed her gaze and nodded in understanding. "Of course, Your Royal Highness. Please, go ahead." Kate made her way toward the child, her steps deliberate and soft, so as not to startle her. The little girl noticed her approach and seemed to retreat further into the shadows, her wide eyes filled with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Kneeling down a few feet away, Kate offered a reassuring smile. "Hello there," she said, her voice calm and warm. "My name's Kate. What's yours?" The girl hesitated, her small hands clutching her teddy bear even tighter. Finally, in a voice barely above a whisper, she replied, "Sophie." "Sophie, that's a beautiful name," Kate said, her smile deepening. "Are you here with someone?" Sophie nodded but didn't say anything further. Her eyes darted toward the church entrance, where the last of the congregation had just exited. "Did you lose your mommy?" Kate asked gently, sensing the source of the child's worry. Sophie nodded again, this time more vigorously. "She said to wait here, but she's not back yet," she said, her voice trembling slightly. Kate's heart ached for the little girl. She extended her hand slowly, her movements measured and non-threatening. "Would you like to wait with me until we find her?" Sophie hesitated for a moment, then slipped her tiny hand into Kate's. The gesture, simple yet profound, spoke of the child's growing trust in the Duchess. Together, they walked toward the front of the church, where the warm glow of the altar candles provided a comforting contrast to the dim, cool shadows of the nave. Kate guided Sophie to a bench near the altar and sat beside her, their hands still joined. "Would you like to light a candle?" she asked. Sophie looked up at Kate, her eyes wide with both surprise and intrigue. "Can I?" "Of course," Kate replied. She struck a match and handed it to Sophie, guiding her small hand to the wick of an unlit candle. The flame caught, casting a soft glow on Sophie's face. "It's beautiful," Sophie whispered, mesmerized by the flickering light. Kate smiled. "Whenever I light a candle, I like to think of it as sending a little message of hope out into the world. Would you like to make a wish?" Sophie closed her eyes tightly for a moment, then opened them and looked at Kate. "I wished for my mommy to come back," she said simply. Kate squeezed Sophie's hand gently. "That's a wonderful wish. And you know what? I believe it'll come true." Context and the search for Sophie's mother. Meanwhile, Father Gregory had alerted the church staff, who began a discreet but thorough search for anyone who might be looking for a lost child. Word was sent to the nearby community hall, where many of the service's attendees had gathered for refreshments. As they waited, Kate kept Sophie engaged, asking her about her teddy bear, her favorite stories, and the things that made her happiest. The little girl began to open up, her initial shyness giving way to the natural curiosity and innocence of childhood. "She's really nice," Sophie said at one point, referring to her mother. "But she's always so busy." Kate nodded, understanding the challenges of balancing responsibilities and parenthood. "Moms are like that sometimes," she said kindly. "But they always love you more than anything else in the world." The minutes stretched into an hour, and though Kate remained calm and composed, Sophie's anxiety began to return. She fidgeted with the hem of her coat and clung more tightly to her teddy bear. Then, at last, the church doors swung open, and a frantic woman rushed inside. Her eyes immediately found Sophie, and she let out a cry of relief. "Sophie!" The little girl leapt off the bench and ran into her mother's arms. The two embraced tightly, tears streaming down the mother's face as she whispered apologies and reassurances. Kate watched the reunion from a short distance, her heart swelling with quiet satisfaction. It was a scene of pure, unfiltered love, a reminder of the deep bonds that hold families together, even in moments of uncertainty. As Sophie and her mother prepared to leave, the little girl turned back to Kate and held out her teddy bear. "This is Mr. Snuggles," she said. "He kept me safe. Now he can keep you safe, too." Kate knelt down and accepted the bear with both hands, her expression one of genuine gratitude. "Thank you, Sophie. I'll take very good care of him." The bigger picture. The story of Kate Middleton's encounter with Sophie quickly became a symbol of the Duchess's enduring compassion and humanity. For those who witnessed the moment, it was a reminder that even small gestures can have a profound impact. Would you have responded the same way in Kate Middleton's position? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming stories. As the mother and daughter disappeared through the grand doors of the church, their silhouettes framed by the pale afternoon light, Kate Middleton remained seated for a moment, her mind awash with thoughts. The simplicity of the moment, the quiet humanity of it, resonated with her in a way that few things had before. Kate was no stranger to grand gestures and large-scale charity initiatives. Her position as the Duchess of Cambridge necessitated that she champion causes on a macro level. But moments like this, intimate and unscripted, reminded her of the profound power of personal connection. The tattered teddy bear Sophie had gifted her lay gently on the bench beside her. Kate ran her fingers over its worn fur, feeling an unexpected weight in the gesture. To the outside world, this small toy might seem insignificant, but to Sophie, it had been a talisman of comfort and protection. And now, it served as a poignant reminder of the small girl's trust, a trust Kate had earned in a fleeting but meaningful interaction. Kate glanced around the church, its silence now deep and unbroken. The flickering candles on the altar cast soft, undulating shadows across the stone walls, as if the very building itself was alive with quiet reflection. She rose slowly, picking up the bear, and made her way to the front pew, where Father Gregory still stood. "I don't think I'll ever forget Sophie," Kate admitted softly, her voice tinged with both warmth and a hint of melancholy. Father Gregory smiled gently, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "These are the moments that stay with us, Your Royal Highness. The ones that remind us of the sacredness of connection. You have a gift for making people feel seen and valued." Kate met his gaze, touched by his words. "I think she taught me just as much as I taught her today," she replied. Father Gregory nodded knowingly. "Children often do. They have a way of cutting through the noise and reminding us of what truly matters." Back at Kensington Palace, a private reflection. Later that evening, as the rain pattered softly against the windows of Kensington Palace, Kate found herself seated at her writing desk. The teddy bear sat propped up beside her, its tiny eyes seeming to gaze at her in quiet expectation. Pulling out a sheet of cream-colored stationery, Kate began to write. "Dear Sophie, today, you reminded me of something very important, that kindness and trust are some of the most powerful forces in the world. You may not realize it, but your bravery and sweetness have left a lasting impression on me. I hope you and your mother are safe and happy, and I want you to know that Mr. Snuggles will always have a special place here with me." Kate paused, considering her words carefully. Then she added, "I also want you to know that the candle you lit today continues to burn brightly, just like the hope and love you carry in your heart. Thank you for sharing your light with me. With love, Kate." She folded the letter and slipped it into an envelope, sealing it with care. A quiet knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. "Your Royal Highness," came the voice of one of her aides, "you asked to be informed when the follow-up on Sophie's family was ready." Kate turned toward the door. Yes, please, come in. The aide entered, carrying a slim folder. We've connected with Sophie's mother through the local charity network. They've been struggling with housing and financial stability, but they're receiving support now. Sophie's mother was overwhelmed with gratitude for the kindness you showed her daughter. Kate took the folder, her expression thoughtful. Thank you for letting me know. Please ensure that they have everything they need in the coming months and keep me updated. The aide nodded. Of course, Your Royal Highness. After the aide left, Kate sat quietly, the weight of the day's events settling over her. She resolved to do more not just for Sophie and her mother, but for countless others who found themselves in similar situations. A ripple effect, the public response. The story of Kate Middleton's encounter with Sophie didn't remain confined to the walls of the church. A member of the congregation, touched by what they had witnessed, shared the moment on social media. The post quickly went viral, accompanied by a photo of Kate kneeling beside Sophie as the little girl lit her candle. The caption read, "Kindness in action, the Duchess of Cambridge reminding us all of the power of compassion." Comments flooded in from across the globe. This is why Kate Middleton is so beloved, she genuinely cares. A small gesture, but it means the world to that little girl. We could all learn something from this. The royal family may be a symbol of tradition, but moments like this show their humanity. Within days, the story had sparked a wave of charitable donations to local organizations supporting families in need. Inspired by Kate's example, people shared their own acts of kindness, creating a chain reaction of goodwill. A lasting legacy. For Kate, the experience served as a reminder of why she had dedicated her life to public service. It wasn't just about the grand titles or the ceremonial duties, it was about making a tangible difference in people's lives, one interaction at a time. And for Sophie, it was a memory she would carry with her always, the day a kind-hearted duchess helped her find her way and lit a candle of hope that would never go out.